Hey, here are 5 stupid things I've noticed about John Hagee. He's a shitty public speaker. For someone with so many decades of experience talking in front of large crowds, John Hagee, televangelist and pastor of Cornerstone Church in San Antonio, Texas, in case you didn't know, is kind of terrible at it. He's got presence and confidence, and those things are important, but he leans far too heavily on easy applause lines and catchphrases, especially the bit where he works up the congregation into a frenzy by quickly rattling off a long series of nicknames for God, finally finishing it off with, "Give him praise and glory in the house of God!" Even for the true believers, that shit's gotta start sounding a little tired eventually. Right? He's an antisemitic pimp for the state of Israel. Fundamentalist Christians seem incapable of having a balanced, sensible view of the state of Israel and of Jewish folks in general. On one end, you've got vicious anti-Semites who blame the Jews for the death of Jesus and for pretty much every bad thing that has happened since. And on the other end, you've got those who view the state of Israel as a symbol of God's divine promise, which he has kept for his people, who can't stand the thought that Benjamin Netanyahu might not get everything he wants all the time forever. And then in the middle, you've got John Hagee, whose unequivocal support for the state of Israel is matched only by his knack for saying things that lots of Jewish folks find deeply offensive. Like, for instance, his suggestion that the Jews brought on their centuries of persecution, including the Holocaust, themselves through their disobedience to God. You're a complicated man, John. A horrible, complicated man. He's a shameless opportunist. Hagee got some attention recently for claiming that a tetrad of total lunar eclipses was a sign of the looming end of days, but that's far from the first time he's tried to steal some heat from a hot cultural topic. I remember when a certain James Cameron-directed film about a certain historical maritime disaster was raking in hundreds of millions of dollars at the box office, and Hagee preached a series of sermons titled The Theology of the Titanic. And that actually is original cover art from the home video release of that sermon series, with giant ghost Jesus standing over the sinking ship as though he just dropped the fucking thing in the ocean. Good hands, Butterfingers. He's equal parts bully and baby. John Hagee is not blind to the plight of American Christians. Oh no. The only thing he seems to enjoy more than bitching and moaning about how liberals and atheists are persecuting the godly is reminding said liberals and atheists that the Christians still run the show around here, and if we don't like it, we can get the fuck out. So which is it? Is Hagee one of the bosses or one of the victims? Or is Hagee a blustery loudmouth who gets off on pretending he's king shit of fuck mountain most of the time, but who is also willing to play at martyrdom if he thinks that's what the petulant, entitled, conservative evangelicals who attend his sermons want to hear? I'll save you some time, it's the third one. He's a fear-mongering end-time prophet. John Hagee never misses an opportunity to remind his congregation not only that Jesus is coming, perhaps today, but that when he gets here, he is gonna fuck shit up. I remember back in my days as a regular TBN voyeur, watching Hagee deliver many sermons standing in front of full-color mural illustrations detailing the brutal judgment that God was going to pour out on the world during the Great Tribulation, and discussing which recent events suggest that it could all kick off at any moment. See, Hagee understands well what preachers have understood since the time of Jonathan Edwards and even long before that the neurotic contemplation of the lurid details of the suffering of the damned is the only church-approved form of pornography, and that nothing beats fear for putting asses in the pews. The hardest part is only picking 5. Catch you next time.